Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Tamara's Nailology. Please subscribe if you haven't, and like if you like what you see, if you feel like my videos are helpful for you. I'm trying to be as helpful as I possibly can from my years of experience doing nails. This is actually not my day job. I'm a college teacher as my day job, but I've been doing nails for a really long time, and I've developed a client base. And because maybe I'm a college teacher, I kind of feel like I can sort of speak to issues, and I'm good at resolving issues. So this is sort of where I feel a lot of my videos are going. I've only done this is my fourth one now, so hopefully this one too will be helpful. Today we're going to talk about chrome chipping. Chrome, especially powder chromes, when you top coat them, are notorious for chipping. Yes, there are chrome gels on the market now, and I've tried several of them. I actually did, I think, my second video on them. They dull. They dull whether you top coat them, and they dull very badly. The non-wipe ones dull very, very badly when you start washing your hands or doing anything. Within 2 or 3 days, I noticed one set that I was wearing, they just basically went gray rather than having the silver. So until they find a formula that doesn't do that, that looks exactly like powder chrome, which does in fact have a beautiful effect, I'm going to stick with my powder chrome, which I did for this cute little set. Which I did 2 weeks ago. I don't have a ton of grow out because, I don't know, I'm getting older and my nails don't grow as much as they used to, but I have been wearing these puppies for almost 2 weeks. And you can see, well, I'm not sure if you can see, but there is no chipping whatsoever. Absolutely no chipping. So I'm going to show you my little trick for this today. Okay, and the way I'm going to show it to you is through an illusion ombre with chrome, because this is also something I haven't really seen much of. I looked for videos on YouTube for if someone else had done a video on this, and I haven't really seen anything, so maybe I'll be the first one. I also am probably not the first one to think of my little trick with keeping the chrome from chipping, but you know what? What the heck? If it helps someone out there that maybe otherwise wouldn't know what they're doing, I'm happy to show you. So first off, we are going to prepare a nail, okay? So that's the other thing I want to talk about briefly. I have a little hack trick, whatever you want to call it, for plastic nails. Now, no matter what you use, I would say, I do hard gel a lot. I do a lot of just gel manicures. I don't do acrylics because monomer makes me quite sick. But I do a lot of gel things. And one of the main enhancements that I do is Gel X. It doesn't matter whether you're buying the cheapest Amazon nails, brand nails, or the most expensive, I won't name brands, they're all plastic. They say gel. Well, you know what? They're not lying. The companies are not lying, because gel is in fact a derivative of plastic. That is why it is cured, to make it hard and for it to stay on the nail. Okay. It's exactly what they do with plastics. Okay. So the thing with plastic though, and it's why we use plastic containers and all these types of things to store stuff, nothing sticks to it. Okay. Now, I've seen so many times, and again, when I was first doing nails, I would file the nail. I'd get out my e-file and I'd, buff it all and make sure that, everything it had a nice rough surface so that the gel would adhere. Because again, gel does not want to stick to a very smooth surface. Hint, hint, hint. This is the same reason why chrome chips, because the top coat does not want to adhere to it. It's too smooth. It has nothing to stick to. So I'm going to show you that after. So my little trick for this, instead of buffing, filing, it does take a long time. And if you have several clients, or your client is saying, I really only have an hour and a half today, or they want lots of nail art and you just don't have time to do those steps. This is something I do all the time regardless, and I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I promise you, not one of my clients, when they come back for a fill, they come back for a new Gel X set, whatever it is, a rebalance, never once have I seen evidence of, or have they reported their gel polish ever chipping. Okay, This creates enough of a surface and enough of, I guess, it's not just the tacky layer, but it roughs up the surface enough to create a good platform for your gels. I just use a pH bond. Okay, this one I'm using is just by Gelish. I've also used some of the cheap Amazon brands. Some of them are very, very good. Honestly, almost anything will work. The Young Nails is my favorite, but it's, you know, it's kind of special. I use that only on usually the natural nail as a primer bonder. But if I'm in a pinch, I will use that as well. The point is, any pH bonder will rough up the surface enough to create adhesion. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of this, okay? And I'm not sure if you can see, I'm trying to stay in the camera. It's already clouding, okay? It's creating enough of a surface, okay? See, it's not shiny anymore. It's creating enough of a surface, and I can feel it's got a little bit of roughness that the gel will adhere, okay? Now, before I start doing my gel application, something I talked about in my other video, I absolutely do not touch gel products without using gloves. I am really paranoid about getting a gel allergy. And unless, of course, I'm doing my own nails, which you can't prevent that. You're doing gel on your nails. I'm very careful. I don't know if you saw my application on my own nails. It's pretty perfect. I'm very careful about not getting uncured gel on my skin because you can develop an allergy which you will never come back from. You won't be able to use gels at all again. Okay, so again, I put on my gloves and I'm going to go in now that I've created that nice layer. Okay, it's nice and not smooth. Okay, a little bit rough, not too rough. This method also prevents you having to dust everything off as well. It's very time saving, and I find it works truly just as well. I've never had an issue. So I'm going to go in with my black Model 1's gel. The thing about Model 1s, and I think there are several brands that are like this. Madame Glam is really good too. There are so many. I mean, you have to sort of shop around and see what works for you. But I find the opacity is excellent. I only did one thin layer and you can see it is black. There is nothing showing through here. Okay. I find that when I'm doing chrome, I only need, as long as I am doing black, I only need one coat usually for chrome because it's the chrome is the thing that's going to create the effect. You don't even see the color underneath anyway. So as long as you're not getting anything patchy, I find that that's okay. So I did I'm doing the 30 seconds with the black, and then I'm going to open up my chromes. I might turn my lamp around because it's creating some light I don't want after this is done curing. So the colors I chose to do this illusion ombre today are a just pure silver, okay, here, and a nice dark blue. Okay, I find the more contrast you have, the nicer this works. You don't want to have crazy, like I wouldn't do, well, I guess you could do red and green if you want at Christmas time. I mean, or, holiday time, whatever it is. It doesn't, I just find that complementary colors really work. So blue being in sort of the silver family, whereas if I was doing green, I would do more gold. Okay, that's just sort of how I see it. Okay, whoops. Dropped my, okay. So now we have our black base. I am going to go in now with Model 1's no white top coat. Okay. Now here's the thing about chrome and no wipe top coat before I do this. Okay. If you're like me, I struggled for quite a while. Why? When I cure my top coat for, I don't know, 30 seconds or 45 seconds, my chrome is not adhering, okay? I have learned that with a good lamp, of which I have several excellent ones. Today I'm using my 54-watt Lavinda lamp, which also has a mirrored bottom, which I really recommend. If you don't have a mirrored bottom, go to the dollar store, buy one of those stand mirrors that you can detach the mirror from, shove it underneath your lamp. Okay, that really helps because the underside of the nail will also get cured if you have length. Okay, so I find it really, really works well. I will only cure my top coat before I put my gel on for 20 to 25 seconds. With a lamp that is strong enough, I would say anything over 36 watts, it will be cured enough. I have never in, oh goodness, 3 years or more that I've been doing powder chromes, have I ever had an issue with the chrome, or well, the top coat underneath the chrome, because I only cured it 20 to 25 seconds. Never has it chipped off the nail, the base of the nail. Okay, I've never had an issue with this. It is cured enough as long as your lamp is strong enough. So I'm going to pop that in now for about 20 seconds. I'm going to watch it fairly carefully to make sure that I don't over cure it, because if you over cure it, your chrome will not stick well. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for that to go. And I use these little eyeshadow ones. I'm in Canada, so for me, Amazon.ca, I can get 100 of these for like $8 on Amazon. And you'll notice that one side doesn't have the thing on it because I had already used it. I just reused them. I use one side and then I use the other. So now I have done this. I'm going to go in with my silver first, okay? And here we go. We're just going to go down the side of the nail and just into the center, but not quite, okay? Then I'm gonna go in with my dark blue, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, okay? And it is adhering beautifully after just, as I said, 20, 25 seconds, okay? I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so I don't know if you can see. All right, it's actually ombreed in the middle. Okay, I wish I had a better camera, but I've got what I got. Okay, so now in order to create the illusion, I'm going to need to make a smile line. But before I do that, I have a little trick. Okay, because again, remember, we get chipping when we put top coat over top. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my file. Okay, I've got a little Young Nails file. I just grabbed anyone. I'm going to gently, gently, gently just file just the underneath edges. Okay, bit of the tip underneath, just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to sort of dust it off. And again, I just use a little sponge to dust off. I find it does a better job in going underneath as well, because you do get chrome residue underneath. I find it does a better job than a brush. Okay, so I always use those. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in with my pH bond, and I'm going to just gently, gently, gently on the underside, I am going to put a little bit of pH bond. Oops, see, I touched a little bit of the top of that chrome and it starts to dull it. Whatever you do, do not put the pH bond on top of your chrome. It will take away the chrome. I've seen other people do it with certain brands, but honestly, I've tried 10, 12 brands. I've never found one that does not, even as gently as I'm going, does not pull off the chrome. So you just want to get around the edge, because again, that is where your top coat is sticking. You want to make sure that you go around the edge so that it doesn't pull up around the edge. That's why you'll get chipping. Okay, you have to remember that again, this is an extremely smooth surface. Nothing is going to want to stick to it. Okay, so for the illusion part, we want to put a little bit of a smile line. Now that I've pH bonded the edges a little bit, I'm going to go in and do a little bit of a smile line. Okay, I'm not going to go too fancy here on this, just for time's sake. Okay, I'm just going to do a little bit here. Okay, and then I'm going to just put a tiny bit on my palette, and I'm going to grab just a liner, just a regular liner here. And I'm just going to clean up that smile line just a tiny little bit. Okay. Of course, in making this video, I forgot to put my glasses on, but I can pretty much see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just cleaning up that smile line, making sure it's as crisp as I can make it. Very good. And we are popping that in the lamp yet again for 20 seconds. We do not want to over cure it. I promise you it is cured enough. I've never had an issue with this in a strong enough lamp. And in any case, I think part of the reason that this works is it leaves sort of a tiny bit of a tacky layer for you without actually having a tacky layer. Okay, so now the last time we had done silver on the one side and blue on the other, we're going the opposite way. I will start with the silver. Okay. And I'm just going to go in right there. Okay, you see that beautiful silver? Okay, and then I'm going to go and do the same thing with the blue. Because you know what? Chrome does not stick to chrome. If you've already chromed the one side, it will not stick to the other chrome. Okay, so you can see we have, whoops, coming out of the light. Okay, an illusion ombre. Okay, it's not perfect, but you can see sort of where I'm going with this. Okay, great. Now here's the thing. So I've done my chrome. I'm going in with my little sponge again, upside down, make sure there's no residue. Usually I am using the Model 1's top coat, but I do have a top coat specifically dedicated for chrome in case there is any residue left, okay? So most people just go, okay, well, ready to go. I'm going to top coat now. Nope. We need to go back in again, do a little bit of filing on the edges. Just the lightest, it's just like a little whisper of filing, okay? Wipe off any dust that there is. Go in with your pH bond. Once again, just around the edges. Do not get it on the chrome. Just around the edges and underneath, because you're going to be top coating this after. Okay? And here is my trick. Nail art foil glue. Some people might use base coat at this point because it does create a sticky layer. But nail art foil glue is specifically formulated to cause nail foils to stick onto the nail and to stay there. So I was experimenting with this and I thought, base coat still, it works kind of, but it still has a little bit of, I noticed some chipping. Well, again, I've been wearing my nails for 2 weeks using this method, not one chip, and my free edges are perfect still. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go in with a thin layer, very thin layer of foil glue gel. Make sure you're using gel. We're always in the gels. Okay, very thin layer. Okay, and you can see it does not change the chrome effect at all. It's beautiful. It's almost like you're top coating it. Okay, sorry, I keep going out of the camera. Right? Now the thing with foil glues, they need to cure for a minute generally. They do take longer to cure, but honestly, who cares? Because this method is so fabulous for making sure that it doesn't chip that, I mean, it could take 3 minutes and I wouldn't care. I really find though, one thing while this is baking away here, people I find don't have strong enough lamps. Now, the thing is, unless you're a professional and you have clients like myself, I have like 6 lamps, okay? And again, I'm using my Lavinda right now, but I have the Dolce Sun ones, which I think on Amazon.com are like $30 or something like that. But that's something more affordable for people. And I use those lamps all the time. But if you're trying to cure gel, specifically hard gels, polygel, and you know, again, if you've ever used polygel, white polygel is notorious for taking forever to cure because it's so opaque, the light just can't penetrate. do invest, if you are serious about doing gel nails and nail art and these types of things, invest in at least a 24 watt, but I would say 36 watt lamp. You don't need a 54 watt lamp to have success. I started out with a little lamp several years ago and it worked okay. I'm super grateful that I have the good ones now, but don't expect gel and things to work when you don't have the proper materials, okay? You really do need to try to invest if you're serious. So here is the cured nail foil glue, okay? From there, oh, I have a lovely tacky surface, okay? That top coat is going to love it. It is going to hug it and kiss it and stay on top of it because it wants to be there, okay? It will stay until you remove it, okay? Until you either soak off your set or drill it off or whatever you want to do. Just make sure when you're doing this, because remember we did all that prep with the pH bond and filing and all of that. Get your edges and your free edge, okay? Now I can cure this for 30 seconds and it will be fully cured and then we'll be ready to go, okay? So again, for me, this is something that works super well. As I said with the regular, just doing chrome in general, curing only for 20-25 seconds and then chroming for me is the trick. I find that it stays beautifully. But then, as I said, I was struggling, as many people do, with chipping on the free edge. I have found so far after 2 weeks, I mean, I don't know what would happen if I'm wearing them for a month. I will try it. I have one client in particular who's pretty adventurous and she likes me to try stuff on her. So I might try it on her and see if they last her for a month. But I mean, it does work and you do get a beautiful effect without losing any of the chrominess that you would get if you were not doing this, basically, okay? So that's how this works. Let me know in the comments if you try it yourself, if you've ever tried it yourself, if it's something that you think could work for yourself, or if you have other tips and tricks. But for me, this absolutely has worked really, really well. Notice too, one last thing before I let you go, is I'm working on a paper towel because chromes go everywhere. They're all over my gloves. I do recommend having a good surface to work on as well, and making sure that you have lots of wiping implements and things like that because it is a messy job. Great luck.